Excellent suggestion. I don't mind doing that at all. So while I don't know all the ins and outs because there is tons to know and I can't explain everything in one video, I'll give you a short rundown version of it. So the short reason of why no politicians are good, even if they start out noble to begin with, is because, as has been pointed out, politicians actually do not get paid a lot to be in Congress. I've heard ranges anywhere from $16,000 a year for local politicians. Let's say you want to be city council. That's generally a volunteer position in some areas. Others, it doesn't pay enough to matter. That's generally why business owners become city council members. Going further up in the government, your representatives, your elected representatives, this is why they're generally lawyers or they own larger businesses or they've been playing the stock market for a bit. Things like that. There's more to that because they've got to have that money to keep them sustaining the lifestyle they have. And obviously, if you've been gaming the system for a while, you're going to be making laws and policies that are going to continue to help you game the system. Campaigns cost money. I agree that there should be a limit on the amount of money spent in campaigns and that the cost that network television can charge politicians to run ads should be greatly reduced. Because if you don't have the money to campaign, you can't campaign, people won't see you. Right now, if I decided to try to run for any political office, I do not have the money to campaign. I would have to ask people like you for money to help me run. And as we know, the common people do not have the money to compete with the billions of dollars total that campaigns altogether get. If you look at earlier elections, I don't know what Biden spent. I know it was in the millions of dollars. I'm just going to use this as an example. He's not getting that from people like you and me. Even if we pulled our money together, we don't have the money to provide what he needs to run ads, compete against people, and all these things. So with that, that means they have to take campaign contributions, which, as Robin Williams put it in Man of the Year, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a great movie and explains part of the problem. It's a bit of a dramatized version of things too. Really good movie for Robin Williams, but it's Robin Williams, Lewis Black, and a lot of their comedy in there. If you like that stuff, you'd love that movie. If you haven't seen it, but anyway, it comes down to this. I'm going to run for office, and I believe that homeless people should be taken care of. But the Coalition for Homeless, I'm going to make that up. We're not referring to any real coalition. The Coalition for Homeless can give me $100,000, but the organization called Build Better for the Future, a fictitious company, they have $1 billion in their nonprofit. And they say, hey, if you support us and make policies that we like or vote on policies we like, lobbying, if you will, we'll go ahead and we'll stuff $2 million into your campaign for your reelection cycle. And I go, God, I really want to do good. But at the same time, I need the money to rerun or nobody's going to see me. So I take the $2 million and then I have to ignore the Coalition for the Homeless's want to build a homeless safe haven because that other organization I worked with that gave me $2 million, they would prefer that I privatize the land for themselves for different urban development. And so I have to make a choice because they may choose to pull that money. They may choose to not give me that money. Maybe they'll pay to badmouth me. It is very dirty. There's an old saying that's been used in many movies and in many crime things that says you got to have a little dirt on you for anybody to trust you in this town. If you haven't heard that, that's how politics is. Even Democrats have dirt on them in a lot of cases. And I'm not talking about the insider trading stuff that was going on with Pelosi and stuff that was talked about. What I'm talking about is the campaign contributions and the things you have to give up. You cannot have integrity to be a politician. It is very hard. I forget her name, Katie Porter. Katie Porter is one of the cleaner politicians, but you'll note she's not very high up the food chain, and there's a reason for that. She's just not taking on the money to do what she needs, and that means she has to slowly work her way up to a higher position of power. So she's become a representative for I think, Orange County, California, or somewhere around there. I forget exactly, but she's done a good job of what she's doing, but unfortunately she's not getting into the places right away that's going to do a lot of good because she's up against a lot. So that's just the portion on campaign finance. That's why we had campaign finance limits. But there's kickbacks too. There's gifts that don't count. There's money that politicians get. There's property they get. I mean, all sorts of things. And it's very hard. If we started banning those things, it would get slightly better. But they're going to find ways to get around that, and they always do. And that's the problem. So again, for me to run for any office right now, I would have to have people donating enough money in that I have at least $1 million to start. So I could start running ads, get my name out there, start booking appearances on programs, things like that. Because that's how it starts when you're coming up. You start talking. Like, I can start a grassroots movement right now. If you believe me, my followers believe me, and I start getting more followers, then I can start talking about the things you guys like, the issues you like this comment here you want me to talk about. But to get further, I'm going to have to start getting money to start running for stuff. And the GOP has started now that if you're going to be a presidential candidate, you have to have some requirements in. They don't allow you to just be presidential candidate anymore. You've got to have so much support and so much money now. They're really limiting that down. So that's the short of it. Again, I know there's a lot I missed in there, but that's a very short portion of that and why they're going to be corrupt.